Thank you very much, Quick Shot. And Rekkles, starting off things right this season in 2018, finishing it up with a win. Now, it looked a little bit shaky a couple times you guys got caught, but overall very clean. What were the lessons you guys learned in your off-season to really take in and just kind of march through for victory in this first game?
So in the off-season, a lot of teams were making changes, and we were one of the few that didn't make many. So most people probably think that we would come in strong. But I feel like with Youngbak coming in and Hylissang coming in, we've actually changed up a lot of things. And in some way, it actually feels like we've changed the team. So I was pretty scared going into today because I felt like we're just playing so differently now that maybe we'll be a bit uncomfortable when we're playing on stage and the stress was there and all that. But actually, it was pretty okay. We had some mistakes with the sideline priority. Like I think I died once or twice, overstaying on my side. But it's a different way of playing the game, and it's no longer just me running on my side, and then that's pretty much it. Like we actually have other ideas in mind now. So it's just a lot of things have to go together, and today there were some that didn't. But at the same time, I think we saw a better Fnatic than from last year, because last year was just all about kills, but now it was much more about getting vision and slowly but surely taking the objectives as well.
Yeah, not all the pieces in the puzzle there, but a lot of them already coming into place. Now, I feel like, Rekkles, a lot of people will look at you being pretty much the hardened veteran on this team, aside from Soaz, and think this guy's got to be the leader. This guy's got to be the one making the directions. Are you the in-game vocal leader for this team?
I think the shot calling is kind of split up. Like, people have different obligations inside of the game. So, for example, Broxa takes care of the early game. He makes the plan of which kind of route he wants to take in the jungle and where he wants to gank in the first or second clear. And then the rest of the game kind of depends on the situation, right? Like every game is different. But for the majority, it's kind of up to whoever gets ahead. And I think in this case, we're winning mid really hard this game. So Caps was talking a lot and like constantly saying when he could move and when he couldn't, so that whenever he could move, we would be able to translate his pressure to the side lanes. And then we broke bot tier 1, and then we broke top tier 1. And then from there on out, it was kind of up to the individual. I think we did a pretty good job on talking like when we could move together and get the vision. But as I said before, like we had some mini slip-ups, and I think I just made some mistakes on top. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, definitely not going to be perfect on day one, but it sounds like you guys are really firing pretty well ahead. Now, I do want to talk about your one roster change, because down the bot lane, you're playing with a new support. Hylissang, he's been around in the LCS for a while, but how is he different from all the other supports you've played with in your time?
So Hylissang has actually been a guy that I've wanted to play with for a long time. I always thought that he was like one of the best playmaking supports out there. I always thought he was just able to step up and make the game-winning play in most cases. And I felt like that was something we were just lacking last year. Like, I don't want to put Jesiz on the stand either, because I actually think Jesiz played over any sort of expectation. I think he was a really great support, and like coming from another role, like he just swapped role and then still do such a great job. It was just inspiring to see, and I don't want to put any blame on him whatsoever, but I think Hylissang is just a very special player, and having that in your team is just something that you would rather do than having to play against it.
One more piece of the puzzle too. Now, I want to go back to what you said about the roster shuffles, because everybody else really kind of blew up the roster. Some started from square one, some just kind of made a lot of massive retoolings. Just overall, with so many shakeups and so much uncertainty, where do you think all the power lies right now in all the teams in EU aside from yourself?
I think with each year that goes by, the top players tend to want to play with the top players. So I feel like we have gotten worse teams, but we've also gotten better. So it's kind of just more split up than before, perhaps. Like maybe now we have like 5 bottom teams and 5 top teams. But as you could see today, like it just didn't go as it should have. So maybe I'm wrong, I'm not sure, but it just felt like looking at the paper that we had better teams now, but also worse teams.
Yeah, kind of weird how that works out sometimes. All right, well, with all that said and done, one last question I got to ask you, Rekkles, because a lot of people are eyeballing that throne right now. What does Fnatic have to do to take it back after a long 2 years without having it?
So I think one of our biggest problems during these past 2 years was that we were very focused on the short-term success. Like we're very focused on winning these specific LCS games and feeling like kind of the pressure in a way of playing under Fnatic. And I think that's the wrong approach. I think League of Legends is a marathon, not a sprint. And we really need to just figure out how we can make the process better. And I'm very happy to see that Youngbak is a great addition to that regard, because he just brings this whole like structure that G2 had, which we now can take over. And I just feel like in the long run, it's just going to be much better. But as you could maybe see today, we were not as explosive as perhaps before. And maybe we're making some mistakes that you haven't seen before. So in the short term, it's not going to be the same Fnatic as people expect. But I think in the long term, everyone will be really happy. And hopefully we can take back the throne or maybe get to a finals. That would be my goal, at least, since I haven't been to one for 2 years. Looking forward to see how you guys can do it. Thanks again for joining me, Rekkles, and congrats on your win. Thank you so much. All right, well, with that, we're wrapped up for day number 1. So let's send it over to Shox and crew for the post-game lobby, ULCS edition.